Hello, Santiana, aka Sun. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Okay, I'm glad that you came here. Thank you. I wanted to speak to you on camera because I really admire your sense of spirituality, your sense of self, and your the way that you remain resilient. So let's speak to that. Who inspired you to be so spiritual?
Honestly, myself. However, I will say that I've had two women that's been that's really inspired me throughout my life. One of them unfortunately passed away about a decade, maybe 11, 12 years ago, which was my grandmother. But I say myself because I've been through a lot. And it really took me to have to get myself out of those situations or like that mindset to really be here today. And I really do think the younger me, because if it wasn't for that little girl, I kid you not, I would not be here today.
So what did you develop to help you become more resilient through those times?
So it all started with the mind. I really do believe that what you feed this here is what you're going to project and what you're going to believe in life. And so for me personally, like I said, I went through a lot of stuff, and of course, like those situations, they sucked. They did. But it's this that kept me going. It was my mindset. It was me telling myself, just because this situation sucks, this is not going to be your life forever. So I think it's really being very optimistic, very just positive, and really having a belief in my future and knowing that there's better for me out there that really kept me going. And I know like saying these things can be a lot easier said than done, especially for those that really do suffer from like clinically like having depression. But I really do heavily believe that if you really do take care of your mind and really try your best to stay positive, that it really can help you. Because I feel like if you feed negativity into yourself, you really do start to believe that and feel that, and you do become it, unfortunately.
And we live in a world where negativity is being fed off at a much higher rate. And so how do you filter the negativity out? How do you decide, okay, I've spent too much time on a certain network or a certain site, and center yourself? Where do you make that difference?
I advocate for myself.
Okay.
So, and unfortunately, this does have to come with like family members or jobs. I've left jobs. I've, had to separate myself from family members before. I am one of those people where I acknowledge what's working for me and what's not. I'm really huge into energy and what are energy suckers. And if it's something that's sucking a lot of my happiness or a lot of that energy from me, unfortunately, I remove myself from that situation. Now, it doesn't mean that I have, any hard feelings towards that person or anything like that. It's just some people, they never change. And until, I think for me, I love most people. And I say that because I can still personally, love you, but unfortunately for me, when I don't see growth, it's really kind of hard for me to want to be around that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're still remaining like being the same person that you were 10 years ago, don't get me wrong, we could do some of the same stuff we used to do back in the days, but if you're not progressing, if you're not doing something more than that, it's really kind of hard for me to be around that. And so if we're still doing some of the same stuff, or if I see that you still have that same mindset and you don't plan on changing, it does affect me. It affects my mindset, it affects my energy, and unfortunately sometimes I have to remove myself away from that. Again, it doesn't mean that I love you any less. It just means that what you deliver isn't for me. It's, people don't believe in energy, but when you're like even like this close, you can feel and get somebody else's energy. And I'm one of those people that I do advocate that if you ever go around someone and you feel like that negative energy, really believe in that and trust that, because that's a sign of something telling you like, hey, this person is giving you bad vibes. Like, so to answer your question, it's really, I just remove myself from situations if it's not serving me, if it's not serving purpose. And I think that started as a kid when I was going through a lot of family like stuff. I had to remove myself from those situations. So
it took me growing up and becoming an adult to get to the point where I could identify negative energy and choose to separate myself from it. So to see that you understood that at such a young age and implemented that in your life so early is powerful. I think a lot of people need to hear that it doesn't always have to come with wisdom and age for you to cut people off. You can start as young. So did your parents teach you that mentality, or again,
no, my parents didn't teach me that. Again, I really had to advocate a lot for myself. So on my mother's side, I'm the oldest. On my dad's, I'm the second oldest. I lived with my mom, and, being the oldest, I had a lot of responsibilities. I wasn't really in school like that, unfortunately. So a lot of the things that I've had to teach myself really came from unfortunate situations. For example, I missed a lot of school because I was at home, helping my mom with just a bunch of stuff, And one day I kind of just woke up and was like, I felt this like dark cloud over me. And what was normal for me, I had to wake up one day and realize your normal is not normal at all. And I won't ever forget that feeling, because it was like a sudden wake up call where I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is not normal. I should not be missing, months of school and taking care of like kids and stuff like that. There was something I was totally going to say with that. I completely forgot. But it's just one of those things of like, I realized, this thing that you consider normal is not normal. So situations like that, it's just like, I've always had to advocate for myself. And I think that was one of the first times that I realized that, when I had to advocate for myself and be like, hey, this is not okay. Hey, this is not normal. And ever since then, I've always had to address and look at certain situations and ask myself, like, is this okay? Is this normal? Is this something that, you're willing to allow in your life?
Do you have people in your life that you lean on that give you reassurance of positivity?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, a lot of the support that I do have, they're not like local, so they're not here in state, but they're some of my best people. Again, my grandmother that passed away like a decade ago, she was the first person. She was like my favorite person, definitely a person that made me believe that I could do anything. She's like, you should be on America's Next Top Model or something like that. Like, she was definitely that person that I believed that if she was here today, I probably would be a lot further in life, like doing stuff. But
she was your catalyst. She was someone behind you, really giving you that motivation to be your fullest self. Wow.
Yes. Now that she's not here, I do still feel her with me though. But as far as living people, I have an aunt who's basically like my mom in Vegas. She is my woman. I mean, she's definitely a queen for sure. Like, we all call her the queen of the family because she is. But definitely like her, a couple other people that's out of state. My sister, I have like an uncle. So yeah, just people that don't live in the state, but people that definitely acknowledge the fact that like what I'm doing today and like where I'm at, they're like, your life, unfortunately, like, I hate to say this, but they're like, you should have taken a left turn based off of some of the stuff that happened in my life. Like, I had to get myself, back in school. I had to make sure like I graduated, which I did do an extra year. But, I had to do that for me, get myself into college, just a lot of stuff where it's like, coming from my background, I know there's a lot of people who, wouldn't have finished school and, like, would kind of be somewhere worse in life. So there's definitely those people out there that's always encouraging me and just so proud of my journey and where I'm at. And I thank them every single time.
So do you see yourself as a religious person, a spiritual person? How do you connect with the universe as a whole?
Definitely spiritual. So growing up, I went to church a lot. And then when I started having stuff in my childhood that happened, I think the first time, and I think we all kind of go through this, when my grandmother had passed away, it's funny because I actually spoke to somebody about this morning, but when my grandmother passed away, I think a lot of us go through this, but I blame God. I was like, there's so many bad people in the world, we have like murderers and stuff like that, and it's like, how do these people get to just live an everyday life? And you don't do anything about that, but you're taking away like innocent people, You know, it's one of those things where you try to understand death, but it's like we don't ever really understand it. And around that time, I did stop going to church. These days, I'm definitely spiritual. I believe in, I really try to be really in tune with myself, with my body, the energy that is brought around me. And work as well, because I kind of live at work. I'm there all the time, and I notice like if it's not serving me purpose, if it's something that's weighing me down and somewhere where I'm not getting far, that's not where I want to be. I do listen to morning affirmations by this person named Katie Kermitstra. I'm so sorry if I said her name incorrectly. I think it's Katie Kermitstra.
She feels your love. She knows your love is there.
Well, my goodness, I am so thankful for her like morning affirmations. I just I think I started listening to her about like last year. I used to meditate, do yoga, like I used to really be into that, and then I started working a lot.
So work got in between you and yoga.
It did.
It's tough because work can really just throw so much stress on you and take you away from the path that you really want to be on. And that's what I think people are awakening to, is that, hey, I don't have to give my all to this corporation who doesn't care about me. I need to give my all to myself and serve the community simultaneously. So
Yes.
do you find yourself in a job where you can kind of cater to both facets?
Yes, absolutely. The reason why I got into the affirmations is because, you know, it was during the time, you know, COVID had happened, and I was working a bunch. And I just noticed how drained I was. I was working retail at the time, and I was just so drained, and I was like, I don't have time for me. It seemed like the only like little bit of happiness I had was just taking a shower, you know, just like washing the day away. And I was like, I need something more. So what I started doing was I would either wake up in the morning, put my headphones in, and either listen to these morning affirmations by Katie, or I would listen to them on my way to work, so while driving. And then I started noticing that I would listen to them sometimes on my way home. So I also do have a playlist that has like background music. I also have, this is gonna sound super silly, but this is so important for me.
Yes, get it known. Let it be known.
I'm telling the world this is gonna be so silly, but I have a playlist, and it's from both like the live version, all of the different movies, but Lion King.
Of course.
So
that's a classic.
It is a classic. The music, and I don't listen to like the super uppity happy songs, so like, you know, Queen of Matata or anything like that, but like there's like the music, like it's
it kind of taps into your inner emotions, and it gets you your spirits high when you hear that level of orchestra.
Yes, and like if you ever like just maybe after this, you know, just listen to the soundtrack, you'll hear just
shout out to Lion King.
Seriously, no, because you're
that raised me though, low key. That movie raised the hell out of me.
Here's the thing. I've only told a couple people this,
Uh-oh.
and I told.
Now you're telling a bunch of people.
I know.
This is a few.
Well, I told my best friend, right, and at first she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, like every night when I go to sleep, I just put on that little playlist, and it puts me to sleep. Like I feel nice." Here's the thing. So my friend just started driving, and this was the first time she had to drive really far, get on the freeway and stuff like that. So she's freaking out, right? I put on Lion King because I told her, I was like, trust me, I was like, this music, it relaxes you, like it makes you feel at ease. She's like, okay, fine, whatever, son, go ahead, put the music on. And I put it on, and she was like, oh my gosh, you weren't joking. I was like, I know, and she felt so much better driving. And so one thing that I always tell people, I tell them, because that's my story, find your Lion King. And I say that for a reason, because if there's like childhood music, like I know like I have an anime playlist, you know, it's just certain nostalgic music that sometimes we like to listen to that makes us feel good, that reminds us of when we were younger and, you know, didn't have a care in the world. I always tell people, find your Lion King. I don't care, you know, what type of like music it is or anything like that. It's not for me to judge, but tap into that, listen to that, because it really does put you at ease. It makes you feel good. And I've said that to a few people, and some people say, yeah, like I'll listen to like, you know, I don't want to say Naruto, but like certain like, you know, anime music, and they're just like, wow, thank you for telling me to find my Lion King, because it's really helpful. And even my friend that, you know, that had that experience with driving, she's like, I really do thank you for saying that, because she's like, it sounds weird to listen to like certain childhood music, but it's like it really does put you at ease. So I'm just a strong believer in taking care of your mental health, and whatever that takes, whatever you need to do to really put yourself at ease before you have to deal with the outside world again, do that, because outside is not going to stop. It's always constantly going, and you have to please the outside world. So make sure you're pleasing yourself, taking care of yourself, and find your Lion King. So
Find your Lion King. Yes, absolutely. So as the world continues to progress, there is a level of madness, but there also is a level of awareness that's coming and emerging that's just as powerful as the madness. So how do you deal with the madness when you're dealing with it on a personal level from human to human? Because we all come in conflict with people sometimes. And so how is it that you react in those situations?
It really depends. I feel like sometimes, it really depends. I think I say this a lot, pick and choose your battles. It's as simple as that. There are times, you may deal with drunk people, and you have to really be like, okay, do I really want to deal with this? They're drunk. I don't really care. I'm trying to enjoy my time. There are family members. Okay, you know how they are. Do you really want to deal with this? And I mean, it doesn't mean that I avoid all conflict, because, there are times I do debate with people as well, but it's really about picking and choosing your battles. Is it really important for me to get this point across? I just say pick and choose your battles, because it really does take a lot of energy to get worked up. Also, it takes a lot of energy to get worked up and produce it. Put that energy out there, put those words out there. So pick and choose your battles. Do I have the energy? Or is this going to get us anywhere? If it's not, so that's, yeah. I guess to answer your question, I just take deep breaths, and I just really try to figure out if this is a battle I really need to take on at this time.
You see, it's harder for me to get triggered when I deal with people on a human basis, but the people who get me the easiestly triggered are the closest ones to me. And I'm realizing that I think a lot of the reason I get triggered is because I look at them from an egotistical standpoint. I look at them as an extension of me. So when they're conducting themselves in ways that I don't really agree with, it hurts more, because I feel like that's me. A part of what they're doing is a decision I've made, you know? And so I'm learning how to let go of that ego. And do you feel like your ego gets in between certain aspects of your life still to this day?
Probably. I mean, we all deal with that, and I think that's something that's really going to be kind of hard to, you can't just always put ego, or I guess I should say pride, away. But for sure, I definitely do. I think that it really depends. Again, pick and choose your battles, and there are times where I'm like, no, I need to make this point. This point needs to be made. And then there was something else I was going to say. It wasn't about, you know what, it's okay, I totally lost it, but
it'll come back.
Thank you.
This is a revolving universe. A beautiful idea is like a star, and humans are like, we're all stars in the galaxy. So we're just traveling in this universe and coming across other stars, and the goal is to become brighter and to emanate more and to light up the universe as best that we can. So when you think about the galaxy and the universe, how do you conceptualize life and death?
Well, I'm gonna just throw this out there.
Do it. Throw everything out there.
I do believe in reincarnation.
Okay.
I do. I do believe in ghosts. We're energies. This body, I like to say, this body that I occupy, because I really do believe this is a body that, I've been placed in, I occupy it. It's like you do have to take care of it, but we are like a ray of energy, a ball of energy. And, when we pass, that energy does go somewhere, this is just physical. It really is. I don't know if that answers your question about life and death, but being here physically, okay, we're alive, but also when we, pass away, we only pass physically, our energy is still going somewhere. So,
absolutely.
And I think that's the reason why that there are ghosts, because I don't know, that energy sometimes just never goes away. Unfortunately, there are sad ghosts, so, that's why some places are super haunted with bad energy and stuff like that, because of, however they passed away. Sometimes they really don't ever get over that, and they're angry and stuff like that. And then I do think that there's, like good ghosts, or I guess you can say like angels and stuff like that, that do guide us, and that sometimes we get that gut feeling, or like that kind of like, why do I have this feeling? That I think that that's just us being guided again by a really good ball of energy, helping us guide and kind of go through our everyday lives. Like my Nana that I was talking about, like I do definitely feel her with me at times, especially when I'm trying to make decisions. I'm like, I don't know what to decide, so.
I definitely believe in reincarnation as well. I feel like there's never going to be an end to this existence as a whole. So because of that, I feel like that's the only logical explanation for where things go after we pass. So yeah.
They talk about that. I've watched like some shows and stuff, but they've talked about that with like deja vu. They say that sometimes like deja vu is like, I don't know how much I believe this, but I'm open to it. But sometimes they say it's because like we've lived another life. So sometimes if you get like that gut feeling, it's because it's like you've lived another life or something like that, and it's kind of like you having that feeling of like, why do I feel like I've been here before? Okay, am I gonna make that same decision, or am I gonna change the story, like the narrative? So I don't know like what you believe in when it comes to deja vu. Yeah.
So as far as reincarnation and deja vu are both concerned, I absolutely believe there's reincarnation, and I feel like we're manifesting the exact same ideas that our ancestors have done. We're using different technology. It's different vessels that are creating the action, but the action is still structurally the same. I was studying ancient history, and I was looking at kings and how they conducted themselves, and a lot of their actions were based off of ego, greed, jealousy, and those same characteristics you can put on the top people in society today. Nothing is changing that we're doing. So in regard to deja vu, I feel like our instinctual selves don't necessarily see the exact event, but we see the makeup of the event. We feel the energy associated with the event. So when we're in those situations of fight or flight or survival, we're like, man, we've been here. Yeah. My heart's beating. I felt this feeling before. This is so familiar. Yeah. So when you're in those positions, again, meditation, that's how you stay calm, right? And yeah, man.
My thing is like, again, find your Lion King. I say this, I'm gonna probably say it 1,000 times, because I am now that I just started a job where
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have the rest of my day. I usually get off around like maybe 3, sometimes 5. But I like it because I have the rest of my day, which means I'm able to take better care of myself. I've been working retail for a while, and with retail, you don't ever really take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't.
What were the parts of yourself that you neglected the most?
Yes. And the reason why I say find your Lion King is because I'm now going to start working on like meditating and like doing yoga and stuff. But for me, Lion King was that. It was me going to bed at night, and before I went to bed, put on that playlist. And again, it was just like,
recentering yourself.
Absolutely.
It's like as soon as we step outside in the world, we have to put on a layer of protection.
Yeah.
Whether we want to or not, that's how this world has been designed from ancestral era. So
when everything is about energy, like whether you go around people, again, like like when you have like those family gatherings, and that sometimes there's going to be that certain family member that you're like, oh boy. Well, again, it's all energy. You have to work up that energy when you go and deal with your everyday life and like people and work
customers
and stuff like that. That's all energy. It's a mask. It's something that you have to put together, work up that energy to have to deal with that. So it's really nice to unwind and to, again, center yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all about energy.
Do you have a circle of people that you can center yourself with? Like, do you have friends and people that are on that path and that journey with you as well?
No.
Nice.
So, I want to say it'd be nice that yes and no.
Okay.
Like that, yes and no. Probably more of my friends that aren't parents, because the ones that are, it's challenging. Because they're parents, they're going all the time. I'm sure they would like to, because I have spoken to a few of them about that, and they're like, okay, that sounds great. And I'm like, yeah. And when I come around and I can see how their lives are with the kids and stuff like that, it's like, I understand. But the ones that aren't necessarily parents, I think that they're kind of like on that same journey of like, okay, I give so much of myself to other people. Let me try to give more into myself. And don't get me wrong, some of my friends that are parents, they are kind of working on it, but baby steps. Baby steps.
Do you see yourself being a parent, ushering another life form into this universe?
I'm not sure, actually.
Ooh, there we go.
I'm really not sure.
Have you been thinking about it recently? Has it been a topic of any form of discussion for you?
So I do think that I want to be an older parent. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'll be 28, in just a couple of months. I don't know. I've always wanted to be a parent. Here's my thing. I'm a very nurturing person. I always have the need to just care for something, for someone. I just recently got a kitten, like about a little over a month ago. And I did it for a lot of reasons, but again, it has to do with that nurturing feeling. I don't know if at this moment, I'm not looking to be a parent. I'm still trying to figure myself out.
What are the things that you're thinking about for why you wouldn't want to be a parent?
Energy. So again, like I said, I definitely I'm kind of like the only one out of like a lot of my friends that's not a parent. I was just at a baby shower yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're coming. The babies are coming.
Yeah, actually, I know like 4 or 5 actually that just had babies this month.
It's coming.
But I think for me is when you're a parent, you never really have that time to figure yourself out because you're always going for that child, and there's never really a right time to be a parent. I feel that like you can never prepare enough to be a parent. I actually at one point I had custody of my sister, one of my sisters on my mom's side.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
I did.
You've been in a position of responsibility for a very long time. That is extremely stressful.
Again, I'm a very nurturing person.
Right.
It's I guess in my nature. I don't know if it has to do with my childhood and how I kind of was like a parent. Taking care of my siblings. But yeah, at one point I got, I had custody of my sister. She was a preteen going on 13.
Oh my goodness. You had to raise a teenager? Wow.
Yeah, I did that for a while and I fought hard. I mean, it was challenging, but I fought hard, and definitely doing that, I think, kind of shied me away from being a parent.
I would assume so.
And everybody says that. They're like, oh, well, when you have your own, it's definitely going to be different. But
and you can mold them because at 13, they're dealing with so much trauma, and they don't even know how to properly process it. And so they're taking it out on whoever is there, really, a lot of the time. So if you're able to at least mitigate some of that trauma earlier on, maybe it's a different situation. Who knows?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just maybe, there's never really a right time to say, okay, let's do this. There's also not really, you can never prepare enough to be a parent. But I would just say for right now, while I'm trying to figure my stuff out, probably not. Just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people have kids kind of for the wrong reasons too, and I don't want to offend anybody, when saying this, because all kids are blessings. But there are people out there that have kids because they think it's going to save a relationship, or people that have kids, I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want a lot of people not liking me because of it. But I just know sometimes I've heard stories where it seems like kids kind of get brought into the wrong situations, and personally, like my mother, I just mentally, I don't think she was ready to have kids. And I just, sometimes I don't understand. Again, I probably won't if I'm not a parent, but for me personally, I'm not ready. Not right now, not mentally. I need to take care of myself.
Absolutely. And that's respect. You see, like you said, a lot of kids come into this world with the weight of a failing relationship on their shoulders. You can't. That's so much responsibility.
I want to say that. I know that's. Yeah, I actually do want to adopt though. I will say that.
I agree. I say if I make it to a certain age and I don't have any children myself, I'm gonna just go ahead and adopt. Now, would you adopt someone in their preteens again? Would you take on that responsibility at that stage, or would you shoot for a younger age?
Probably younger.
Okay. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Being that you've already been through that. I agree. I would probably want to shoot for a younger age too, because again, I want to be a therapist